Hot Seat Podcast. And in this week's episode, it would be about once again for The Last of Us for episode number 6. And we're getting closer towards the end. And this time, for this week's episode, for episode number 6, we see Ellie and Joe being able to continue things on their journey and being able to continue their journey at worst and basically having a reuniting as we're looking to look for Tommy on this one, and they were able to make it all the way to Jackson, Wyoming, which was actually in the game, and to be able to see that uh, town and everything where Joe and Ellie eventually stayed with Tommy, and we ended up finding out that Tommy is basically having a partner, so he was able to not only meet these people, but he was able to have a partner over time. Joel and Tommy were able to talk things out and be able to talk about what happened with Joel and Ellie over time, and also telling the truth about her, with her being able to not only have fight and everything, but also be immune with everything that's been going on. Beforehand, they're actually very nervous and not sure if they were going to be able to make it into the group, and they were making sure that no one was bit or anything like that or infected. So they wanted to be sure, so they had the dogs check them both. So Ellie was actually surprisingly safe, which is good on that, so no one was attacked or anything else like that. So I was happy to see that. And if you did see also as well, just for that brief moment that we did get to see more of little Dina on this one. So in the game, Ellie mentioned that she saw Dina at one point, and I think she was stealing some food, I believe, or something like that at the time. So we didn't really get far too much of an interaction, just a little bit as of right now. And that was really cool. I really liked that. So I was curious to see who would be actually be able to play Dina, if we get to see the same person that played Dina in the games. I would have liked to have seen that, but it looks like it's a different person. So I'm happy we're able to see Dina, and a little bit of a sneak preview of what we can be seeing into season 2 with Ellie and Dina. So that's going to be very exciting to be able to see that. We see Ellie being able to get along with Tommy's partner and everything, so they're able to talk things out and get to know one another. And as well, Ellie finding out that Joe had a daughter, so things were adding up and making more sense. At one point, Joe wasn't too sure if he was going to still be uh, doing the things that they were trying to do the first time, and continue their journey and looking for the cure and everything. So Joe was feeling basically not sure, and that's when Ellie thought that she was going to be just left behind from Joel and everything, and they were going to end their um, journey together. So she wasn't too sure, and she was feeling very upset that someone else is basically going to leave her and abandon her, and I don't blame her for that. But over time, Joe was able to come around, and they were actually able to continue their journey and have their basically kind of like father daughter, almost like a relationship continue. So that's really cool there, and Joe was able to work things out and continue things. We saw Ellie's horse in this one, how they were able to meet and everything, and they continued things to move on. And eventually, I meet with another bad group. I believe it looked like it was at a campus, I believe, trying to see what's around them and everything on their way to, I believe, out west in Seattle, if I'm not mistaken, on that. And that's where basically Joe was attacked and everything. So a little scary there on him, and to see how he would be able to come through on that. So it doesn't look like he fully dies here, but with that, we get into which something I wasn't too sure how I was going to get into season 1, but it's finally going to happen. And we're going to get into Left Behind for next episode, and that one's definitely an emotional episode as well. I've seen more of Elliot being able to deal with Marlene and everyone else, and how she was able to be dealing with them, how life is like with everyone there, and as well seeing basically her first girlfriend at the time, her first partner. So that will be interesting. So if you see me play Left Behind on my main channel, which is Fortnite Project, and I have my gaming stuff on there, so definitely go check that out if you haven't already. As a side note, so that's everything in a nutshell for the most part for episode number 6. Definitely a lot there, so I like the comparisons between the game and as well the episodes. So again, some changes, especially in this one in the beginning, when they met this couple and basically trying to get some advice and not sure if they should trust them or not on the continuation. So I don't remember seeing them in the game, but their advice was to go east instead of keep going west, just to be cautious with them. So I thought I'd add that in there. So that's it for this episode of the In the Hot Seat podcast. If you're watching on the YouTube version, for the video version, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to hit up for all of my other episodes and future episodes of the In the Hot Seat podcast, and be able to leave a comment down below what you thought of this episode of The Last of Us for episode 6, and as well the rest so far, and what you're looking forward to in the future. We can talk about that as well. I do have the links to all of the In the Hot Seat podcast socials and my regular socials as well in the description box as well. So you can definitely check that out and to stay notified for everything else in the Hot Seat podcast related episodes. I do have a very special interview for this week, so be on the lookout for that for the first interview of 2023. We're very excited about that. And that about does it for this week's episode of the In the Hot Seat podcast. And I'll catch everyone next time for the In the Hot Seat podcast.